I've seen agents, not just agents, but people who thrive at surviving. It's like they're in the water and they start to go down underneath the water and get their lips just above, catch a deep breath, and the water goes down. And I think it's important for people to understand that you're stronger than you think you are. You weren't made to survive. You weren't created to survive. You were created to thrive.
The human brain is designed to survive.
Yeah.
I think the human soul is designed to thrive.
Ooh.
Holy cows, 2026.
My goodness.
2026, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We're here with Chris and Zach in studio, just the three of us today, talking about
Just the three.
what happened in 2025 and what the heck's going to happen in 2026. And we decided that this needed to be opened with a good story, Chris, that I think you're going to launch us into.
First, I want to welcome the 51st state, Venezuela, to the
Oh,
podcast.
no. Really? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know if I can do that. Sorry. We're going to edit that out. Too soon. No edits.
No edits.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, that's in there for good. Come and get me. So we're gonna title this "I Got Goals," right?
I don't know.
And there's a great story about one of my favorite topics, basketball, and the Redeem Team.
Redeem Team.
The Redeem Team.
Carlos Boozer.
Yes, and if you don't know the story, the Dream Team came on, and the initial allowing basketball professionals to play in the Olympics, or at least U.S. professionals. That was the first time U.S. professionals played in the Olympics, and
Is that because everywhere else in the world they were playing pros, but in
Yeah.
the U.S. it had to be college?
Yes, correct. Yeah, and so then
There could not be paid athletes in the Olympics.
and then Michael Jordan showed up with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and
Were they the Dream
Carmel.
Team?
Yeah, that was the original Dream Team, right?
The original Dream
Yeah.
Team. Not the 2004 Dream Team.
No, not the 2004 Dream Team. And after that initial run, U.S. swept the Olympics. They got the gold medals. That process continued. Yeah, they got lazy. They got comfortable. And the world actually got very good at basketball. And so the pros rolled in one year. I can't remember what year this was, but they ended up getting killed.
2004.
It was the 2014, right? 2004. And they realized that they were outcoached, outmatched, not out-talented, I wouldn't say.
No.
Outcoached, outmatched.
They weren't prepared.
Out-hustled, all of that. They weren't prepared. And so the 2008 team that came in was supposed to be the Redeem Team.
Supposed to be.
Yes, yeah. And that included, I can't remember all the players, but I do know included Kobe Bryant and Carlos Boozer, right?
Yeah.
And Carlos Boozer told us the story about a night out in Las Vegas. The team was there and they were preparing for the Olympics. And one night he and the team, Carlos Boozer, went out and enjoyed Las Vegas, as you do. And they were rolling in at a...
As you do. Is that how you do it?
Dude, it's in Vegas stays there. And as they're rolling in the hotel, I think it was 4 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah. 4:45 in the morning they were rolling in.
Yeah, they're walking in, tired, getting ready to go to bed. And
They had practice. Now, of course, their justification was practice is not until 11.
11, so they can
11
sleep
to
in.
5. So they can sleep in until
Correct.
8:30 or 9, and they're still good.
They'll still roll into practice with a hangover. What does that look like?
Yeah.
But as they're walking in, Kobe Bryant is walking out of the elevator with a security detail in his gym clothes, and they're looking at him like, where's he going? They're just
Where you
getting
going,
in.
Kobe?
And that's what they ask him. Where are you going, Kobe? And what's Kobe tell him?
I got goals.
That was it. I got goals. And the rest of the team they're looking at each other. Then they get in the elevator and Carlos Boozer says, well, I got goals. Don't you have goals? And, I think that was an awakening, a realization to them. And the next morning they show up at 4:45 in the lobby, waiting for Kobe, ready to go.
When the doors opened, Kobe stepped
Yeah.
out. They were all there in the lobby waiting to go practice with him to work out.
That's pretty cool. It's a great story.
And they went on to win the 2008 Olympics in Beijing.
Yeah.
And they did
They
become
were the
the
redeem
redeem team.
Absolutely.
But
Go ahead.
they had to get real about what they were there to do.
Yes. And what if that didn't happen? It would be a different story. Kobe was the best player on the court. The other thing that's interesting to me about that whole thing, he didn't call him. And hey guys, we probably need to be there the next day. We need to be ready.
Are you going to be there? Because if you're going to be there, I'll be there.
Yeah. He just showed up.
He was going anyway.
Yeah. And the influence that had, because they knew his production leadership for sure,
Yeah.
So anyway, very
Isn't
cool.
that the difference between goals and dreams, though?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there's probably a lot of insurance agents out there that start the year coming on strong, and I want to hit a certain income level, or I want to hit a certain production level, or I want to build my team to a certain size. But it almost seems as if it's a dream because they don't have an action plan on how to get there. They haven't thought through what it looks like, what the commitment looks like, what the dedication looks like. And it seems like in that elevator, they're like, I'm a part of the Olympics. I'm already an NBA All-Star. We're in Vegas. Our team is stacked. We probably are going to win. And they all have goals as well, or dreams, you would call it. But the difference is Kobe is moving towards that every single day. It's always top of mind. It's always the first thing. And, so many agents, or in that story, the players, they're looking at what's directly in front of them. And it's like, I'm going to start my diet after this last zebra cake or this last Christmas tree cake, right?
I don't even know what a zebra cake is.
Delicious.
I do.
I'll bring you one. I got some actually.
A zebra cake?
But think about it. Like, why don't people start their diets 2 days before Thanksgiving? Or why don't they start it after Thanksgiving?
That's a really good point.
Because they have this entire holiday season coming up. And
They have planned their bad habits.
they've planned for it, and they've planned to end it at a certain time, rather than and that's why I'm saying it almost feels like a dream. It's I would like to hit this level. I dream about accomplishing that, but I haven't set it a goal and a priority to move towards that yet.
I think most agents don't have a goal problem. Because I think if you were to ask most people, they're like, I want to do this year. I want to accomplish this. And they probably got some goals already written down. But I think they have a plan problem. They set a number, but they don't build a system that makes their plan work, that makes the goals work. Sorry. So today, what we're going to try to cover here for you guys on this episode, Chris, Zach, and I are going to talk about goals, and we're going to help you build a 2026 plan that you can actually execute without being completely overwhelmed.
I like it. Let's do it. So in this first part, why do most goals fail? I mean, this may seem obvious, but I think it's important for us to understand it a little bit.
I think most people fail on their goals because they are vague. They are not clear. I want to do better. It's often, say, I want to do better. I'm going to sell more. I'm going to sell more. I want to do better. They're vague. So I would say vague. Number two, I would say they're oftentimes like a vanity goal. So they just set a number. They don't necessarily know how they're going to get there or what that number means or what the behaviors are necessary to actually hit that number. So vague, vanity. And I would say, lastly, that they're unsupported. So they don't have any accountability toward what the goal is. Like they don't know what the lead flow should look like. They haven't set up their calendar. They haven't looked at their calendar. They haven't put a plan in place. So they're vague. They're just big numbers, and they're yet unsupported. I would say those are probably the three big challenges that most people have.
Yeah, and most agents out there, they almost set their goals or almost on a whim, right? They have a feeling or emotional outburst or coming off a high week, and now they feel that they can, set this astronomical number for the year. But there is a bit of logic that has to go into this. It has to make sense. It has to be possible, and it has to break down. You have to be able to do the math in order to get there, because it's so easy for us when we're looking at setting goals to have this certain number, right, Chris, that we just throw out there, right? But if it's not attainable,
That
it's not
meant something,
achievable.
by the way. For those of you that saw something that just happened there, Zach tapped Chris on the
Yes.
shoulder, and that was a callback to Chris setting some big goals that Zach was questioning.
Yeah, because if you're not on track for it, or you're progressing through the year and you can't get it, you have to know why and
Yeah.
where you fell short, not just close your eyes and run your legs a little bit faster and maybe we can make up ground. So the math has to work.
I would agree.
Are you ready to launch your insurance career? Excel Solutions is your go-to leader in life, accident, and health insurance pre-license training. Their cutting-edge e-learning platform is packed with rich content. Think interactive assessments, engaging videos, and customized learning paths, all tailored to your learning style. Being students ourselves, we've trusted Excel now for years to deliver top-notch training, offering high pass rates. Their streamlined prep review courses and the exam simulator are really your secret weapons to nailing the state exam the very first time. Now, you thought it couldn't get any better. Well, it just did. Life Insurance Academy listeners, you receive an epic 50% discount, reducing the regular course fee from $199 to only $99. So, all you have to do is use partner code LIA at liapodcast.org/Excel. Now, Excel spells XCEL. So don't think about it any longer. Dive headfirst into your insurance career with Excel Solutions' premier pre-license training with that exclusive 50% discount just for you. Get the code, get licensed, and excel in your insurance career. So let's give them a framework, Chris. Let's give them a framework that works. Let's talk about a vision, math, Zach's math word, method, and then some metrics to actually go get it. All right. So if we start with why, right? We got Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Start with why. This gives us our vision for what's important. So Chris, what say you about why it's important to have a vision for what you want to accomplish?
My belief is that vision is what pulls you into the future, and it has to be something that you believe in and something you want. I mean, even our sales process starts with belief. That's the thing that moves. It's what moves you, and it's what pulls you through during challenging times. But this is a good litmus test to if it's real or not, is if you can define with words that you can measure. You know, like maybe it's an income number that you want to hit that you haven't hit before, and not just the number itself, but what you would do with that income and what that would look like. I think those are important pieces. Number of applications, maybe it's submitted versus issue paid numbers. Like you've submitted a certain amount this previous year, and your issue paid number wasn't as high as you'd like based on the numbers that you submitted. Or maybe it's an activity goal for you, like you are committing to a certain number of dials a day that you weren't doing before. But it's got to be changed. It's got to be attached to something that you really, really want and that you're willing to pay the price for that is beyond. I think this is really challenging when you're looking at a total year if it's not something that you really want. It's not something that you're desiring.
I think it's got to. I think you have to tie it to what's really important to you. So, like real life. So, what is, okay, yes, I can measure income and I can measure apps and I can measure my submitted, my placement rate versus my issue paid rate, that sort of thing. And that means something, or your activity goal. But what does it actually mean for your family? How does it translate to your pocketbook? How does
your life change?
If we talk to Tommy G, it's like, what does it do for the money in the bank? How does that affect your family? The things that we want to do, the places we want to go, the things we're able to do for the people we love the most, the vacations we take, the schools we can send our kids to, the pressure we take off our spouse from a job. The paying off a debt, helping pay off someone else's student loan debt, your kids, so there's so many things. What does winning actually look like in a change for your family, your stress level, and your freedom. I think if we tie those two things together, now vision has purpose, and it's not just a.
I think that's very important. You have to emphasize that it has to be your vision. So many people, especially new agents, they want to piggyback off other people's visions.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris wants that, and maybe I should want that too. Or look at that life, maybe I want that as well. I'm not saying that you should have your complete vision already crafted, but that should be something that's very important for you at any level of this business, is continuing to craft and clarify the vision you have for yourself. And it may take you a little bit to add bits and pieces to that. But just like you were saying, Roger, money can buy a house, but it can't buy a home, right? Mm-hmm. Money can buy a vacation, but it can't buy memories. And that's very important to what you're going to do at that. But I see too many times that people set goals and visions because they think other people want their goal to be that.
And, I do think, Zach, it is, a good conversation of possibly, let's say it's somebody you trust and they have a certain lifestyle that they have that you don't. Mm-hmm. And maybe you're starting with a conversation of taking pieces of what you see and putting it in alignment with who you are. Absolutely. I think that's how it starts to develop. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
You have to build your vision, right?
Correct.
You're typically starting this and you're in an all-white hallway, kind of like the room we shot our first commercial in, I don't know how many years ago it was.
All-white hallway,
there was a white floor to ceiling. There wasn't even an edge that went to it.
I remember that.
It was crazy. And that's almost what it's like. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was like for me, because I had a certain vision, but it was so vague. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know if this was going to take me there. But it continues to get clear as I expand my belief in what's possible and to craft what is actually my vision. So I think that's important.
I'm just going to ask you guys a couple questions. Just remember back a few years, right? So just for clarity, none of us in here come from generational wealth. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Right? You did not come from generational wealth. I did not. Zach did not. So, I can go back and start telling you about how rough it was to walk uphill 2 ways and, in the snow and all that, and being the youngest of 9 children and only one that, my family went to college, and I had to put myself through school and get my own student loan. We didn't grow up with that. So if we didn't grow up with that, Adam didn't grow up with that necessarily. You know what I mean? We're none of us here are generationally wealthy where we're inheriting a lifestyle that we just don't have a perspective that's like the rest of the world. Okay?
Survive it.
So let me ask you a question.
Jumping from train to train.
What did it feel like this year, knowing at the end of the year, when you look at the money in your bank account, how did that feel this year, looking at your bank account at the end of this year? Versus what it looked like 6-8 years ago after Christmas?
It's very different.
How does it feel? How does it make you feel?
It was delayed gratification.
Yeah. I mean, it feels great. It feels great to run for something and achieve something. At the same time, not satisfied. It's kind of a weird mix, of wanting to have bigger impact. But yeah, it's, going back 8 years further, even you just go back 4 more years, coming off of a housing crisis, losing a house, trying to figure it all out to where, I was just thinking of this when I was walking up the driveway. I was so grateful for living where I live in the home that I have. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. What does it feel like? I guess what I'm trying to communicate for people that are listening, and some of you don't have this perspective. Some of you may be doing great already financially, and you're trying to hit, a totally different level. But for some people, it's just the basic feeling, knowing that there's actually money in the bank, the bills are paid, and there's actually some left over, and that might be an odd feeling for the very first time.
Yeah, it honestly, it feels like I'm paying back the loan that I gave myself. And that is time, effort, energy, consistency, hustle, hope for when things were, not going the best, I would say, in personal life, but also in business. We went through COVID together, hunkered down in our basements, starting telesales and selling any way we possibly knew how to keep our employees from having a job. Like, it feels that, just being able and knowing that it is all worth it and it all comes back to you. And if you feel that, you're in the middle of it, that's just the story's only halfway written. And that consistency is the one key word over everything that we've done. I mean, there's been many times where we didn't want to come record a podcast.
Adam dragged us in here.
Yeah, I mean, we've took our bumps and bruises, but the thing is, you never give up, and I think that's the story of every new life insurance agent out there. Every single one of them can achieve their vision and dreams if they don't quit.
Yeah. It was fun. I'm gonna tell a secret. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him in on some stuff. So the day before our Christmas break this year, I pulled everybody together and said, "Hey, we're doing a road trip." We all went downtown. Why don't you share where we went, and then I'll jump back into the story.
Yeah, we went to Whistle Pig, which is a bourbon company. I think I'm saying that right. Focuses on rye.
Bourbon distillery, yeah.
Yeah, bourbon distillery. They have
whiskey.
A very unique location here in Louisville. It's an old bank from 1900s, I guess. And they've revitalized it and turned it into the vault. That's right, and they turned it into a tasting room. It's a great experience. Very, very cool. It's like you're walking into a 1920s bank, like they have a vault room with a gigantic door on it. Yeah, and you go in and they have these special bottles in there that are $5,000. I mean, it's crazy, but it's beautiful, beautiful location. It was a nice surprise. You didn't tell us what it was.
Yeah. So we took the team, Adam, Paul, Tim, you guys, we all went down and spent the afternoon, had a private tasting room upstairs. They brought out like 5 or 6 different bourbons and ryes, mostly ryes. And we had chocolates. They had little nuts. They were describing all the flavor profiles, the barrels and how things are made. And then he brings out an 18-year-old rye, Remember that one?
Yeah.
Big, beautiful bottle, right? 18 years. I mean, this thing was aging for 18 years, and he didn't let us pour that ourselves. He poured it for us and passed the glass around, right?
It's the only one we didn't pour ourselves.
He kept the bottle back on that 18-year. Adam, and we all got to taste it, and we were all sitting up there experiencing, and I was looking around, and in that moment when I was looking around, I was thinking, like 10, 12 years ago, that would have been a very stressful moment if I was trying to pull that off. Right? A very stressful moment because the finances weren't there to do it.
Yeah.
Like, because to do an afternoon like that, that's not I'm not saying this to bring light. I'm just saying it feels different when you have resources to be able to enjoy the things with the people you care about and to go do stuff, and there's no financial pressure. So I want you to ask yourself, when you're setting your goal, make sure one of your goals are to know the feeling of what it's like not to have the financial pressure. To put yourself in a position where you're in a situation where you're progressing forward, where you're doing more, you're getting rewarded and reciprocated for the work that you put in, and you're building a life. You're building a life that includes this feeling of not being strapped all the time or underwater all the time. Like you're moving your way out of that. And just being able to wake up and experience some of that together. And so I wanted everybody on our team to have a great afternoon, and we did.
Yeah.
But it can't just be about income and apps. It can't just be about issue paid. It has to be about how things make you feel and about what it does for your family, your stress level, your freedom.
I do want to say something. Like, I honestly believe that this is the most important thing that you can say on the podcast today.
We can talk all day on this.
I know. Well,
we could.
Because I've seen agents, not just agents, but people who thrive at surviving. They're experts at surviving, and it's like they're in the water and they start to go down underneath the water and get their lips just above, catch a deep breath, and the water goes down. And it's their whole entire life, the water's just going up above their neck to their lips. They catch a deep breath.
Sometimes they go under.
Yeah, and sometimes they go under a little bit, and then they pop back up, and
that's the hope. That's the hope.
Yeah.
You survive because of hope, and you have hope because you have vision and belief.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to understand that you're stronger than you think you are. You weren't made to survive. You weren't created to survive. You were
The
created
brain,
to thrive.
the human brain is designed to survive.
Yeah.
I think the human soul is designed to thrive.
Ooh, that hits.
Right?
Yes,
The
I
human
agree.
brain is
Yeah.
designed to survive. And once you're done past surviving, it doesn't really do a lot. It's your soul and the drive inside of you,
Yeah.
this deep burning desire
Yeah.
that pushes you to do great things, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that wants you to thrive. And when you're in that thrive mode, we just did an episode not too long ago with Sydney Desiltel, and it's called From Survive to Thrive. It's doing really
Yes.
well. You
Yeah.
should go back and listen
I
to
did
that
listen.
episode
Yeah.
because she talks about how she was in survival mode and living in a current status of chaos. She said, when you're living in a state of chaos all the time, you don't know you're in there.
It's normal.
And chaos becomes normalized. When you can actually see something above the horizon, you can get your head above the water and you can breathe for the first time and you can see, and there's other people around you saying, hey, it's good over here. Come on over.
You can put your feet down.
Yeah, you can put your feet down. You can take a rest. You don't have to be constantly gasping for air. Like life is like set some goals with some people and get in alignment with your goals so that they align with the things that you want for your life. And that's a lot of times about how you feel about the things that you're doing and who you're doing it with and how you're doing life. So yeah, we could talk about that all day. And I think it's probably one of the most important conversations. Let's break it down. So we talked about the 4-part framework, the vision. Let's talk about the math.
Yeah, and this is
Zach, this is you. This is all you, man. The
this
math.
is naturally this is the way my brain works. I don't know why, but it does.
It's a
and
gift.
I guess it is. It could be, right? Everything in life's a gift and a curse, right? Depending on how you use it. But you really have to reverse engineer it, right? You need to break it down and begin with the end in mind. And for that, depending on what that vision of your vision is always the end, it's the result. But what do we actually have to put into place in order to get there? Is that a certain production goal? Is that a certain income goal? It probably should be both. I mean, realistically, in order for your vision to become reality, it needs to be some sort of income goal. And that income goal is then reverse engineered into what does that look like activity-wise? What does that look like production-wise? But if I want to make a certain amount of money a year to fund this lifestyle or goal or have a certain amount of time off, whatever that looks like, then we need to break that down for the year. We need to break that down what that looks like per month. We need to break that what that looks like per week. And we need to break that what that looks like per working day. And I've said this on many trainings, like, I've been through a lot of stuff that has challenged me mentally, and I would say I'm pretty much a mentally tough person for my accounts, but I'm not strong enough to chase after something for 3 or 6 months in a row. I can't. And it's too difficult because if I feel, or if most people feel that they're slipping or they miss it, or the moment it becomes unattainable or you can't achieve it, they give up. That's the same reason that, if there's a certain amount of time in a basketball game and you're at a certain deficit, they just go ahead and put the subs in, right? In order for
That's why I got in.
Now we know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why I got in.
This may be news for some of you guys out there. It's okay,
What?
Chris.
I thought they put the best players in at the end of the game.
Right. But you lose the very thing you were talking about a couple minutes ago, Chris, which is hope. Like you lose that hope. But if you break that down and know what you're going after for the year, but let that be the result instead of the action, and you know what you need to achieve every working day. And the reason I say working day is because I didn't say what you need to make for the week, because maybe you hit that on a Monday, Tuesday, or I don't say Monday through Thursday, because if it's a working day, then I need to know how many working days for the year I need to have. So if I do get sick, if a family member does need me, if something happens called life, which happens every single year, probably happened in 2025, it will probably happen in 2026. If life happens,
That's happening every month. Life.
Yeah. Nights or weekends or whatever it's going to take, I know how many working days I need to do to still have a possibility of hitting my goal.
That's good.
If your goal is $300,000, let's just say you set a $300,000 goal, annualized premium, which I think is a very attainable goal, especially if you're working remotely.
Yeah.
over the phone doing life sales. So if you're starting brand new this year or you just got started in 2025 and this is going to be your first full year, you should be setting nothing less than 300,000 as your production goal. So the question is, what do you need to do monthly and weekly to do that? So 300,000 divided by 12 is $25,000 a month in issued production, 25,000 a month. Well, if you break down 25,000 a month by the week, now you've got to do roughly $6,250 in a week to do 25,000 in a month, which is going to get you 300,000 for the year. So if you're going to try to get to 6,250 in a week, and your average, if your average application is $1,000 in premium, you need just over somewhere between 6 and 7 applications a week. That's an average of 1 a day for all 6 or 7 days. Or you got to do 2 some days. If you're working 5 days, you got to do. So again, you work into your working days, what your average is per working day. Then that allows us to get into a realistic expectation of how many conversations do I need to have to write 1 application a day. Or let's say it's 1.3 applications a day to get to that number in 5 days instead of 7, okay? So it's 1.3. How many conversations do I need to be able to write 1 application? How many leads do I need to have to get into those number of conversations to get to 1.3 applications a day? So now I can get to my leads, I can get to the conversations, I can get to the number of appointments, and then I can get to the applications placed. Once I start breaking down reverse engineering, it just becomes math.
Simple.
At that point.
Yeah.
So then the math then has a price to it. Well, how much are my leads? And how much time can I put in? So the only 2 variables now you have, other than what your goal is your investment of money and your investment of time.
Absolutely.
And then you just do the work. Investment of money, time, and do the work. But now you have a math strategy that works. You have a math strategy that works. All right. So we've got the vision, we got the math. Now the method. Chris, let's talk about method. Let's talk about like a weekly operating system if you're going to get into that.
Yeah. So this is having a specific daily activity that you need to have to hit your goals. And you said, Roger, I think it was, there's a cost to this of time and money for your goals, for you to reach them. And you have to decide if you're full-time or you're part-time, but your goals, they demand that activity. They demand it. So if you don't hit your numbers in 4 days, then you have to work 5 days. If you don't hit your numbers in 5 days, then you have to work 6 days. Or you have to change your goals.
That's right.
And if your goals change, how important were they? Those are the questions like you have to come back to for yourselves in this. So you have to set aside, this is the biggest challenge I think agents face on the method side of things. You have to treat it like it's your business. It's you, Inc. You're in charge. You're working from home a lot of times, and it can be very isolating. So you have to have a plan in place where you have accountability. You have people you can connect with, that you are committing to this specific activity on a regular basis, and you are locked in. And you're locked in. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Zach, if you're part-time or full-time, does it change?
No, it doesn't change at all. In fact, I think if you're part-time, you're working full-time. If you're full-time, you're working 2 full-time jobs. And realistically, what you're looking at.
That's a fact. Yeah.
It is very different when you're working for yourself or you're working with somebody else. And what I mean by that is there's, and these are metrics that we track and have conversations with agents, but obviously as we get into some of the different metrics here in a minute, but one thing is very important is what is your start time and what is your finish time of the day? Those aren't your working hours. Those are your start time and your finish time. You may clocked in and had an 8-hour day, but your actual hours that you worked are the revenue generating. It's based upon the metrics, on your dials, on your conversations, because there's a lot of time, a lot of downtime in your day while you're at work. And I think that is one of the biggest misconceptions that is not ever really clearly communicated to new agents. They're saying, oh, well, you start dialing at 10 and and you go at 8 at night or 5 at night and have dinner with your family, and you feel as if you're putting in these, 8, 9, 10-hour days. But realistically, if I clock in at that time and clock out at 8, but I never make any dials, I'm not getting paid, right?
I had an agent at our last boot camp tell me they could not get a hold of anybody consistently. I sat down next to the agent. They said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to watch you dial." Sat and dialed. 6 calls in, somebody picks up. We're on the call. Great.
So you're saying we just need a Chris Ball stuffy that people can buy from the LIA store and sit it right there on the desk with that face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. Later the next day. Can't get me on the phone. Sat down. Somebody picked up. I'm a call magnet. I don't know what it is.
It's amazing
But
what happened.
the reality is
They became accountable.
we believe that nobody's going to, we believe and it affects the activity and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
The call magnet.
he's the call magnet. So we've got the vision. We've got the math, reverse engineer it. We've got the method. So we've got a weekly operating system set up. We know when we're going to start. We know how much time we're going to need to put in on the phones, how much dial time we're going to need. We've got our leads figured out, right? We've got our conversations figured out. Now we break it into metrics. So now we're into the metrics. And the metrics is what moves the needle. The metrics is where the rubber hits the road here. So we have to track what moves sales. Track inputs before your output. Most people want to start counting
Premium.
applications and premium.
Yeah.
That's what they want to track. But that's only going to be the result of input. So inputs give you control. Outputs give you feedback.
And
So
I
let's
could-
talk about the controls.
Yeah.
I'll say something about the metrics. Metrics aren't emotional. They're not.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes they are.
metrics don't lie unless you lie about
Sometimes
the
they are when
metrics.
someone yells at you on the phone and then you want to pick up the phone and dial again because you just got yelled at.
That's
it
a
feels
metric.
emotional.
But the numbers are
Right.
the numbers are the numbers, not
Correct.
the conversation, right?
Correct. It feels emotional.
The metrics
write
don't.
that number down.
I'm telling you guys, the metrics don't lie unless you lie about the metrics.
That's true. This is
And
it.
every agent has to track their metrics truthfully because it will tell a unique story of how their upline or their trainer or even personal evaluation of how they can get better and improve to become successful. But everybody wants to embellish these metrics or say I made gazillion dials today and nobody picked up, or I close everybody I talked to but only talked to 2 people. And that's where it comes into play. The metrics will always tell a story.
I was in the one boot camp, Chris. A gentleman came up and said, "No one's picking up these phones. I don't know if it's the leads. Maybe I need a new lead. I'm trying to find a new lead vendor." I said, "What have you been doing for the last 30 minutes?" "Well, I've been looking up new leads because these leads aren't working." I said, "You spent the last 30 minutes looking for new leads." I said, "Okay, well, in 10 minutes, when I'm done with this other person, I want you to come over here and sit down." So they came over and sat down, and I pulled up Ring Central. What they didn't know was that I could see how many dials they made all day on Ring Central. So I pulled up their dials and pulled up their name. And I said, "How many leads do you have?" And they told me I have, 60 leads. And I looked at how many calls they made, and they made 40 calls all day. 40 dials. Not even triple dials, 40. I said, "It's 2:00 in the afternoon. You've dialed 40 people. You have 60 leads.
Those were really long conversations. They had.
And you spent the last half an hour looking up a new lead vendor
Yeah.
because no one's picking up." I said, "How long does it take to dial a lead?" "What do you mean?" "Pretend I'm a lead and you're dialing the lead. How long does it take for it to go to voicemail before they don't answer?" "How long?" 30 seconds.
45
30
minutes.
Seconds. 30 seconds. I said, "Okay, so if we're going to dial that one 3 times, how much time?" 90 seconds.
Right.
90 seconds. And I said, and then you move on to the next one. So if you dialed them all 3 times, 90 seconds times, 40, you realize that you're going to back into some numbers here pretty quickly. And what we are coming to a realization is you haven't even called all of your leads once. And what you think is happening is not happening. So you have to get real.
Yeah.
So the numbers, what are the inputs? Let's talk about those. And you guys can let me know if there's anything different here.
I will say this on the front side of it, and this is where we kind of go into like levers and dials, and for the easiest ones, the most specific ones you can track. that generate the most movement are related to time and investment, and that's leads and activity, opportunities and activity. And those are the things on the front side of this that you have to crank on with all your might, with consistency, to be able to have the conversations to move anything else in the process. So those are the two biggest ones that you have to pay attention to. If you have 15 leads that you're calling 30 leads, you're full-time and you're talking to 50, you only get 50 leads, that's not full-time.
No.
I hate to tell you that. It's not full-time. On virtual sales, it's not. I wish it were, but it's not.
Correct.
You're
Full-time for 2.5 days, 2 days, maybe.
I'll give you 2. Yes.
2 days,
Yeah.
maybe full-time for 2 days, but that's about it. So the metrics that you have to track, so you have to track these before you track your outputs. These are the inputs, number of dials that you're making, triple dials, because you have to get people's attention. The number of contacts that you make, how many people pick up, so how many initial conversations are you starting? How do we break conversations? Are we talking about conversations versus appointments or presentations? Let's say conversations versus presentations. I think those two are different.
They are.
Right? So we have to track conversations. We have to track presentations. If you're setting appointments, if you're someone who's still setting appointments, you have to track how many appointments you set and how many you kept. How many you set, how many you sat.
Yeah,
set and sat, or set and kept. And if it's an in-home versus over the phone, how many did you sit from the ones you sat? How many did you keep from the ones you called? You know, those are the two things. Applications submitted, premium submitted, your placement rate, you know, your
that's a good one.
your deposit amount. I mean, these are some metrics, but on the very front end, it's dials, contacts, conversations, presentations, appointments, applications.
And contacts and conversations. All those things that you see that you're tracking tell a story of adjustments or coaching that needs to happen for you to be able to hit the next level or get to the next level. And I will say this is a little tidbit from my perspective. Appointments, if you're doing final expense over the phone and it's not AI generated and you're dialing out and you're having these conversations, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, unless it's a specific situation where they are not able to be in a sit and have a conversation, like maybe they're at the doctor's office or they're at the grocery store. Yeah, then you do have to make an adjustment. The other time I would say that where I typically wouldn't look for appointments is on mortgage protection age leads. I treated those as one call sits, and I got way more traction than when I was trying to set appointments.
Set an appointment and then keep an appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of people coming out of that space wondered why they're not having more success, because they're trying to do it like it's a new lead.
Yeah, and it's not.
No.
It's an age lead for a reason. So those are just some the more you know tips.
All right, let's drive this to 2 more sessions, 2 more segments, and then we'll wrap, okay? So segment 3 here, we're going to talk about 3 goals that every agent needs. And then segment 4, we're going to talk about the first 30 days, your plan, and then we'll close it out from there. So let's jump back to 3 goals every agent needs. Zach, I'm going to go to you on this. What's the first goal every agent needs?
Number 1 is a production goal. It's simple. We need to know, and it shouldn't be the same or what you did last year, right? Because we are constantly improving and growing and expanding our vision, our belief of what's possible, our skill set. We should be doing all of those things because you're a part of Life Insurance Academy coaching series, right? So we need to set a goal that actually stretches you a little bit and requires you to dial in and be disciplined to all of those metrics and everything we talked about that we can really focus on, but we can realistically get there as well. The math has to be there.
Chris, is that number scary for most people? Should it be?
I think it should be a little bit.
You're the one who sets big goals. That's the reason why I'm asking you. Because when you told Zach your goal, Zach was like, what?
Yes. Yeah, I think it should make you a little nervous. Well, here, I'll say it this way. If it doesn't make you nervous or uncomfortable, then it's either too easy or you don't care. It's one of those two. That's what I think.
Here's another interesting way of thinking about it. If you were to set a goal for somebody in your downline or on your team, how would you set it? What would you set it as? If you were to set the goal for yourself, would you use the same criteria or would you take it easier on yourself? People naturally, for themselves, only want to hit goals that they know they can comfortably hit because they want to feel as if they're winning. And if they have to lower the rims, right, Chris?
Yes.
You lower the rims to get a bucket. They'll want to do that, right?
I thought you were talking about a car.
There's nothing wrong with an 8-foot 360. It's just as real as a 10-foot.
So, Chris, like in watching you set some of your goals this past year, and when we set goals as an organization, we always set a goal, and then we have a reach goal or a stretch goal. Or some people might say, I have a baseline goal, and then I have a breakout goal. A baseline goal and a breakout goal. Like, what's my minimum acceptable standard that I'm going to...
It almost becomes a requirement.
I have to hit this number.
Yeah.
Okay, it shouldn't paralyze you, but it should stretch you. So what is that number? And then what's the stretch goal? What's the if we can just get the gas on the fire and we can get this thing cranking and we can get the big mo going, it could be this number. And I think everyone should have two of those numbers.
I would agree 100%.
Why is that important to you? You're a guy
For
that
me,
likes to go after big goals.
I think what
That are
you
scary.
do should make you feel alive. That's it. It'd be, for me, it just is boring otherwise. I want to hit the goal, but I want to grow in the goal. I want to be a better version of me in the goal. I like
Even if you don't hit it, you're 10 times better.
yes, that's how I feel about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I know I got past the goal,
You got what?
the wimpy goal.
You got past the baseline goal.
Yeah.
The minimum acceptable standard, right? So goal number 1's a production goal. What's goal number 2, Chris?
It's a process goal. That's the one where, something like I'll set 12 appointments this week, depending on if you're doing mortgage protection sales, but I'm going to commit to dialing 6 hours out of the 8 hours I'm sitting here. Maybe that's a start for you. And you can do it. Try it. Take a stopwatch and time yourself to see how often you're really dialing and tell yourself the truth.
I had a conversation with an agent at our boot camp recently about this, and I said, we need to be setting our process goal at numbers of presentations, actual presentations, not conversations, not, hey, let me call you back later. Number of presentations per day.
Yeah.
And that's gonna help them achieve everything. It's simple. No, everything else builds up to get this, but we need the presentations a day.
That's a very good one. I like that a lot.
So that's your process goal. So you've got a production goal, you've got a process goal, how you're going to do it, right? So your process goal is the engine.
Yeah, and maybe for you, I'm going to start using a dialer. I'm going to start using a CRM. I don't like technology. I haven't used it before, and maybe that's a new thing for you, but it'll make you more efficient. Why not?
Yeah. So your process goal is the engine, and your production goal is the scoreboard. Scoreboard and engine.
Yeah.
All right. We've got one final big goal that every agent should have, Chris. And I think this is probably the biggest one. And without this one, you don't grow. So what's goal number 3 that every agent should have?
A personal development goal. And I like this one a lot because I feel like in your process, you can go through the motions or get stuck going through the motions and not realize that you are in this for growth. And when I see an agent capture that idea that you're in this for growth, I hear things change, like their tonality, their pacing. They're far more aware of those type of things. The way they tell a story or how they speak to somebody. We talk about agents who are younger have a whole different dialect or slang that they're using.
Language, yeah.
Yeah, and that sometimes it drops in on a conversation with Miss Betty, like 25K, right? You start to see it maturing in language or whatever, but If it's just those other pieces and it's all mechanic, then you're missing this part where you actually can become a master of your craft, and in some cases, some of your personal goals, like who you want to be at the end of this whole thing, is pretty important as well.
I would say some personal development goals would be like, I'm going to get good at objection handling.
Yeah.
I'm going to get good at understanding the 3A framework for handling most objections. Right? You might say, well, what's the 3A framework? Well, you got to get into our coaching.
That's
to
right.
Figure that out, because it will give you tools and an anchor that you immediately go to so that you can master that with confidence. And when you get them, you don't have to worry about it. Maybe you're going to get really good at your call control or underwriting basics with 4 carriers. Maybe it's your closing language, how you close each time. You're going to master your closing sequence. You're going to become really, really good at that. Or your storytelling or rapport building, like you're working on a skill. I like this idea of picking a skill that makes you dangerous in 2026. What if you got really good at 3 things this year in your process, in your skill set? What 3 things would make you a dangerous top contending producing agent, top level contender as a top producer in your organization? What's gonna make you that dangerous agent in 2026 if you could skill up on those? What are those? So pick one for Q1 and don't change it every week. Get really, really good at it, and then dive into another one in Q2, right? At the end of the year, you've got 4 new skills mastered that you did not own in 2023. So we got a production goal, we got a process goal, we got a personal development goal. All right, we're going to send them off with a 30-day plan. Let's wrap up with this. If you want 2026 to be different, don't wait until you feel ready. I would say they need a 30-day execution checklist, Zach. I'm going to go to you for the 6-part checklist. What do they need to do to deliver on their 30-day action plan?
Well, you need to know exactly what your vision is, your number, and your why, which is your 1-page goal plan. You have to have that. You need to reverse engineer your weekly activity. So talking about what we discussed earlier and knowing what your year looks like, knowing what your month looks like, your week, even down to your day, to know exactly what that looks like. You need to block your calendar for your selling time, right? This is knowing when you start your day, when you finish your day, but also the amount of hours you're actually revenue generating activity. And this is the hours that we don't change our oil in or schedule our doctor's appointments, right? These are our working hours that are completely blocked out.
Or get interrupted irregularly because I'm not that busy.
Yeah.
We need to know exactly what our lead flow is. This is like gasoline in our engines, right? We need to know that it is enough to get us to our destination. We need to know that it's the right fuel that's going to get us there. We need to know that it's consistent and always going to be there. Mm-hmm. If we want deposits to always keep flowing into our account, we need to have the gas or the leads flowing into our CRMs. They go hand in hand. And we absolutely need accountability. These are going to be check-ins with your mentor, with your upline, whoever that is, to make sure these are the gauges for your own goals that you set for yourself. This is the peek in. This is looking through the window of your vision. Is it getting clear or is it getting more cloudy? Am I making progress or am I regressing backwards? This lets us know where we need to add more fuel or make adjustments. Guys, when we set goals in 2026, we don't expect there to not be road bumps or challenges. Like, we're going to always have to make adjustments to get over certain hurdles to continue to push through. It's going to be hard. And most importantly, in my opinion, is tracking your metrics. You need to know what's going into your business, what's coming out of your business, so that you know which levers to pull, which ones to push, and which ones to turn, so you know that you're getting there.
Very good. Very good. Very true.
Sounds like consistency is the flex.
Consistency is the flex.
Is that your flex, Chris?
Yeah. Yes. Consistency or just flexing? I'm consistently flexing.
Yeah. So here's the takeaway. Don't just set a goal. You got to build a system. If you know your math and you run your week, 2026 won't just be hype and it won't just be hope. It'll actually be an inevitable game plan that you can deliver on. I would say that's my takeaway and call to action for you. Chris, what do you say?
It feels good to set goals. It feels good. But that isn't what creates change. It's the activity of going through the process, doing the work, getting rejected, grinding it out, learning to be resilient, being transparent in your accountability. That's where real change happens. And it happens in the community, in the conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And so don't rest on having a feel-good moment for setting some decent goals.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough.
Want to take us out?
I should say it feels better to achieve the goals. It feels good to make them, but it
Yeah,
feels
if
a
you
lot
really
better
wanna
to
feel
achieve.
that, feel the good. That's it. Yes, I agree.
And if you stayed with us through this podcast, you guys are already on the right track for number one, from getting to where you want to go, from starting 2026 right. And if you want more content like this, if you want to get involved, if you really want to start your year on the right path, please check out the resources and what we have available at Life Insurance Academy. Come to our coaching calls, hang out with us, talk to us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We want to see you guys there.
I will say this. Kind of buried the lead on this. We do have a calculator available for people to.
Is it a TI?
on the website? Yes, TI-83, for you to input the production you want, the number of leads. It's basically a goal setting calculator you can use to help do all this. So
Maybe we'll give that away on our website as a free download.
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you go to our website, lifeinsuranceacademy.org, and we'll give it to you as a free download where you can access the calculator and jump in and
Tinker around.
yeah, get the information that you want, set the goals so that you can make 2026 your best year ever. Well, guys, thanks for watching. We got a bunch of stuff planned. There's a lot of great content coming up. Stay tuned with us as we navigate 2026. We got some great interviews coming up. We've had some great interviews. And if we had to do a recap and a look ahead, there's just some really, really great stuff coming. We're excited to be in this industry with you. No better time right now than to be in this industry and to change your life. Set some big goals. Go out there and get them and make 2026 your best year ever. We'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.